See if I can see us.
Everything was going so well.
Well, the sound's going to be on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just turn that down.
Everything was going so well. And
Yes.
then it all fell over.
And then it all fell over. Whose fault was that, do you think?
No, I'm not really sure.
Yes. Hello, says Andrew Hyde.
Hello,
Yay,
we're back.
says
We're
Michael.
back.
Crikey.
Please do us a favour and reshare this new stream as you did before. Now it's all...
Yes. Sorry about that. The trouble is, of course, we're sort of dependent on our own little bits of equipment and our own spare rooms.
Yes. And sometimes things go a little bit awry. Like they
Hello,
just have.
Brian. Hello, Richard and James, says Brian. Perfect stream back, says Michael. Gary Hodgson, wasn't me. Welcome back. Yeah, back again, says Hugh. Hello, Hugh.
Yeah, here we are.
There we are. And numbers are climbing already, you see. They can see us again. So yes, do share away. Now, what are we going to do about Chris Dale's Big Rat Bites?
I think we should play Big Rat Bites again.
All right, then.
Folks.
Look, Adrian Lyndon Gummer's joined us. Hello, Uncle Adrian. Carry on.
Oh, hi, Adrian. Oh, Uncle A.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's just the thing.
Yes, we are back. Yes, please, if you could share the new stream with people, we would really love that. That would be great.
Yeah.
Now, if you are happy to watch Big Rat Bites again, yes, Mark Justin Ford, it is also 7:36 here as well. This is live, which is why it went wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't a pre-recorded cock-up. It's actually a live one. Yes, Chris is cursed. This happened last...
It is.
Last time we played Big Rat Bites, it all went wrong.
Yes.
So...
Well, no, last time we played Big Rat Bites, you had forgotten it. Oh, no, that was the time before.
Time before I'd forgotten it.
Yeah.
Last time it went wrong. This time it was working fine, and then the whole stream crashed. So,
Yeah.
let's play Big Rat Bites from the beginning once more.
Yes.
Bear with us while we get there.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll make it to the end, and we will see you on the other side of Big Rat Bites. Maybe.
Goodly anniversary, my dear brethren, and today I'd like to talk about something that I noticed last week, I think. As many of you will hopefully know, I have been producing a series for the Gerry Anderson YouTube channel called the Gerry Anderson Primers, in which I talk you through the history of a particular Gerry Anderson series in about 10 minutes or so. And I noticed in the comments on the Secret Service video that went up a couple of weeks ago, for the 50th anniversary actually, that I wasn't the biggest fan of the Secret Service. Which was a surprise to me to hear actually, because I don't remember ever going on record regarding my my thoughts and feelings regarding the Secret Service. Partly due to the fact that I honestly don't know what I think of the Secret Service. It's bizarre. It's not the strangest Gerry Anderson series out there. I think for me the strangest would have to be the sort of anything goes era of Season 2 Terrorhawks and Dick Spanner. But the Secret Service has got to be a strong contender for third place. Now my Supermarionation tastes have always lent more towards the Century 21 era, to the correctly proportioned puppets of Captain Scarlet and Joe 90, and I've been trying to think recently why that might be. But I had a long think about it, and I think why I'm so fond of Scarlet and Joe above any other Anderson Supermarionation series is everything from Four Feather Falls right the way through to Thunderbirds was so skewed towards America. The shows were so desperate to get that all-important sale to an American network that they almost seemed to be sort of jumping up and down going, oh, over here America, over here, look at us, woo, we're doing what you like, woo. And I think what I love about Scarlet and Joe and what keeps bringing me back to them is that they feel, firstly they feel more international, but secondly, and I think crucially, they feel like shows that don't have anything to prove. The atmosphere is very much, okay, this is what we are, and if you want us in America, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too, but we are completely comfortable with who we are and what we're doing. And in the Secret Service, I think the same thinking was probably in play. This isn't going to be a smash hit or anything. We'll just do what we find entertaining. And I think that's certainly noticeable in the casting of Stanley Unwin to play the show's main character, in the fact that this was somebody that Gerry found entertaining, and seemingly, by the sounds of it, nobody else on the Century 21 team did. And I certainly find his use of language is very creative and at times reasonably funny, usually when he's interacting with a character who either just wants to get away from him or clearly doesn't understand and just thinks he's insane. I like that. I like the fact that he's also a priest. He's a man of the cloth. He's the kind of man that you would expect to be absolutely trustworthy and sane at all times, no matter what. So the show has a nice comedic streak through it as a result of that. I don't necessarily feel that the character work on the show is particularly strong, though. I think a lot of them are mostly blank slates of characters, really, far more than I think any other Gerry Anderson series. This is also not helped by the fact that we have, essentially, I'm going to include Agent Blake as a regular, we have 5 regular characters on this show, 3 of whom are keeping the other 2 in the dark at all times as to what they're actually doing and what's really going on here. I don't know if that's an especially appealing dynamic for a series that half of the cast are essentially tricking the other half. Not too sure about that. But it's certainly a very confident show. I think that's best represented in the fact that there's no setup for any of these characters whatsoever. They've got a shrinking ray, it's just casually used. The only concession they have in the first episode to establish anything is a brief mention of the man who created the Minimizer, Professor Humbert. He's only mentioned briefly. That's it. I love the fact that the format is just so off the wall, coupled with the fact that they felt so confident about it that's like, we don't need to explain anything that's going on here. Everyone's going to be on board with this. I find it just beautiful. It's beautiful and insane. But I also completely understand why some people would be put off by it, why broadcasters were put off by it back in the day. The fact that it centres around an elderly puppet priest with a shrinking ray doing secret agent type things, that is in itself really strange, but the fact that they chose to realise it, 2/3 supermarionation, 1/3 live action, and a bit of model work. And I would have loved to have been there when they began to cut the series together in the editing room and realised, uh-oh, this doesn't match at all. I mean, full props to them for trying something so outlandish and bizarre, but I don't think you can really switch from one to the other and back again and just pretend that nothing's happened. And obviously that in itself did produce some wonderfully surreal moments in the Secret Service, particularly everyone's favourite Lady Martha, the puppet emerging from the bushes, and then you cut to that man in drag just plodding slowly towards the bike, and then you cut back to puppets, and then you cut back to the guy on the bike. And I do think it is a shame that the show was cancelled. I don't know how much more they could potentially have done with it. The very last episode of the show, which is my personal favourite, I absolutely adore More Haste, Less Speed. There's that wonderful, surreal streak of humour that I really enjoyed in Joe 90 episodes like Lone Handed 90, particularly See You Down There, and I suppose even as far back as Attack on Cloud Base. We're not going for the obvious gags of Stingray and even Thunderbirds, you know, all that wah 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 stuff. And in that sense, the Secret Service does deliver some very entertaining episodes. I was rewatching the show recently and it was so entertaining because it's just so nuts. You just turn your brain off and anything can happen.
In the next half hour.
I've not revisited it a whole lot since the DVDs came out. I think that's more to do with the fact that I'm always expecting that at any moment we're going to get that announcement saying that the show is coming out on Blu-ray in the not too distant future, because I always know that as soon as I sit down and watch them and finish the whole lot, that's when the announcement that the Blu-ray is going to hit. So I want to sort of savour it and look forward to that moment. But I did rewatch them all this year, and still hugely entertaining. I got a lot out of that viewing, and as I said, to be honest, I'm not entirely convinced they could have worked the format much more than they did. But if you're willing to sort of set aside things like logic and rationality and sense, and just give yourself over to these 13 mad little episodes that bring out a lot of that surreal humour of Joe 90, you're going to have a blast with this series, and I really did, both when I first saw it and when I saw it just a few months ago. I'm not surprised that it didn't really catch on, either with Lou Grade or with broadcasters. Again, there were certain other elements in play at that time. It wasn't just the quality of the Secret Service itself as a show, it was also the fact that by this point in '69, there were still some regions in the UK that were showing things like Twizzle and Torchy. There were so many puppet shows, Anderson-produced puppet shows on British television, that I know that not as many regions bought Joe 90 as bought Captain Scarlet, and again the take-up was even less for the Secret Service. We've heard from various members of the Century 21 production team over the years that many of them wanted to keep going. Obviously, I completely understand the fact that the puppeteers would be really keen to essentially keep their job, but I'd have been interested to see if that where they were still creating Super Mario Nation side by side with UFO. I'd be interested to see the show that followed from that. But one of the reasons I make the primers is I'd like to sort of get people who aren't familiar with all Gerry Anderson's series